Celebrating 10 years of trailblazing in ground support, Exceed marks a decade as your leading partner in ground support equipment leasing. At the forefront of both short-term and long-term leasing solutions, Exceed adapts to your unique operational needs. Whether you're ramping up for peak season or planning for long-term growth, we provide the right equipment to keep your operations running smoothly. This anniversary, we renew our dedication to empowering your ground operations with efficiency and innovation. With Exceed, you're equipped for success today and prepared for the challenges of tomorrow. Exceed, driving excellence on the ground year after year. Explore more at exceedgse.com.
This is John Pfister.
I'm Brian Yoder.
This is Matthias Moulinier.
This is Willie Martinez, and you are listening to GSE Podcast.
All right. Welcome to the GSE Podcast. I am Matt Weitzel, and I am here with Matthias Moulinier from Adveez. How you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Nice to talk to you finally, Matt.
I know we've been talking about doing this podcast for a really long time. You have been a listener from the beginning.
Yes, since I think day one, I've been listening every podcast and going to work. It's like a 30 minutes to 45 minutes drive, and it's always good to spend the time with people in the industry talking about GSEs.
Well, I really appreciate you always listening. That means a lot to me, and yeah, hopefully we have a lot of listeners that are like that, and they wait for the episodes to come out. So you flew in from France, I'm guessing, and the holidays are almost coming up. So you got any plans for the holidays?
Spending time with family for Christmas, and I'm working like 3 hours from my family, so it's time to keep up with parents and family for Christmas. So
yeah. So did you? How did you get into the GSE space? How did you get in with Adveez? Like, what does that story look like?
Story is kind of long, because when Karim Bendia, our CEO, started Adveez, it was not dedicated to GSE into airport application. When Karim started the company in 2011, we were doing access control, so being able to know who's going to enter a building with a hands-free capability. So like the keyless that you have in your car, it was the same for buildings. And the goal of Adveez was to do that for you to get access to your home without your key. So you have a fob in your pocket and it will let you in your house. So, but we saw very quickly that it was difficult to do this business. And we had Avia Partner, a ground handling company in Europe, that says, can we have this access control to make sure that only Avia Partner, a driver at the airport in Toulouse, can drive our equipment. So we don't want competition to drive our equipment. So that's how we installed this hands-free access control. So they had the fob in their pocket, and we were able to lock the equipment only to the right people. And as we started this installation, they've requested new functionality, GPS, shock, CAN data, analog, digital input from GSEs. And that was all about the hardware that we've developed. And as we were getting data, we were like, okay, we need to do something with all of this. And this is where we created the platform to collect every data and doing real-time analysis, reporting, and much more, like nearly 12 years later. So that's how we enter the GSE and the airport application.
Yeah. So did you start with them right out of school? How did you end up there, though?
So with Adveez, I've done, I don't know if it's available in the US, but in Europe, in France, we can do our engineering school half-time in school and half-time in a company.
Oh, okay.
And this is what I did. So I did my engineering school, and I was like 2 weeks at school and 2 weeks after within a company. And when I started my school, I picked up Adveez. So at that time we were 4 or 5 employees, and I've done my whole career within Adveez, from developing product at the beginning, moving to installation, commissioning, project management, pre-sales, and touching a lot of things within the company, which is great, because we've been growing, and it was so much fun, and it's still so much fun to do a little bit of everything between the customer, between our development team, between our sales team, and partners that we have on the market.
Yeah. So what is your title at Adveez?
So I am the product and customer success director at Adveez. So I would say two roles. One about the product. So it's building the roadmap of what's going to be our next hardware and what's going to be the next feature within the platform for the next couple of weeks, months, and years. So this is where I get every input from our ongoing customer that are using the solution and making sure that we fit their needs moving forwards. And the other part that we call the customer success is basically the after sales market. So when we sign a contract, it can be simple as a couple of dozen of units all the way up to a few thousand equipment to be installed. I am in charge of the team that is deploying the solution and doing the follow-up with the customer, making sure that we meet what we have signed and what our sales team has provided during pilots and presentations.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So tell me a little bit about Adveez in general. So like what you offer, I know, obviously access control and GPS, fleet tracking, but, kind of go into the details of your total package offering and then kind of explain to me how it's developed. So like where it began and then where it is today and then where you kind of see the technology, moving towards in the future.
Yep. So different parts in the solution. The first part, and I will start with it, is the hardware, making sure that at Adveez, we are developing and managing our own hardware. So we've developed a hardware that is compatible with diesel equipment, electrical equipment. We have like 80 volt capabilities. So it's like really dedicated to the GSE market because it's a very specific type of equipment where you have very old equipment where you need analogic digital information. And on the newest equipment, we have CAN bus. So we've designed our hardware to collect every type of data on old equipment and new equipment. So we are doing the electronic and we are doing the assembly of the boxes and everything within Toulouse at our headquarters. And we are also developing the software that is inside the box, which is super important for us. We are installed on GSE that are powered with a battery, and the goal is to use the less battery as we can and making sure that we don't have any impact on the good use of the GSE. So hardware, as you said, we are collecting the GPS information. We are doing access control, so making sure that the right people are using the right equipment based on their training and capability to drive equipment. We're going to record fuel level, state of charge on electrical equipment, pressure, engine hours. Engine hours is a key element to do fleet management and preventive maintenance. So we are tracking engine hours on all of the unit. And after we have additional information that we will record as e-stop, specific use of a GPU that is powering an aircraft, a turbine extractor that is going to have an aircraft in a cradle. So we can get all of those data. And one of the other functionality is speed reduction. We can control the speed, so we can activate the speed control that is already available on the GSE. You have turtle mode or snail mode on the GSE, and we can act to activate those options. So this allows us to improve safety on the airport. So that's one part of the whole solution is the box itself. And we are really dedicated to building and managing the box so we can adapt our hardware and our software inside to cover as much as we can based on the customer requirement. One key element about this is making sure that all of the data are sent somewhere. So connectivity is a challenge. So we have today a worldwide connectivity. So we have customers that are working in different countries in the world, and we don't want to change SIM cards. So we have our internal SIM card that can manage multiple in every country in the world. And when all of those data are sent out, we received everything in our platform. So that's the other part that we are developing internally, is what we call the Localise platform. So this platform is doing real-time analysis. So you will have standard functionality as a map where you see all of your GSE, if they are running, if they are in idle, if the fuel level is low. This is where you're going to manage if you, Matt, you are able to drive a pushback, and if myself, Matthias, I can drive a loader or not. So it's inside the platform. And after every technical data that we are getting from the unit, we have reporting that can do simple analysis, and we can also push data to our to third-party software that I will come back after. So that's for the real-time information. You have dashboards that tells you how many units are in use, how many units are in maintenance. And after, we have a big part of reporting to do analysis after a couple of weeks and months of usage. And this is where the fleet management is powerful, is that we can see in real time and with the reporting how many equipment are in use in the same time. And you can basically see peak usage. You can see that drivers, they will use some brand and model more compared to other brand and models. So this is helping also procurement from the company to say, okay, we see that the Charlotte T137 is well used by our customer. So let's continue to, not the customer, by our user, driver. So let's continue to purchase those because we see that they are used more compared to another brand and another model. So we have multiple analysis like this. And after, we have what we call geofence capability, where, so as I said, you can draw a zone on the airport that will reduce the speed. We can have alerts to say somebody enter a zone where it shouldn't go. And after, you have, alerting capability, weekly reports, daily reports that are sent based on what you configure to know how your fleet has been used. So that's how we are today. And moving forward, we've been collecting data since 10 years now, with the first product that we've installed in Toulouse. And with all of those data, we can see now trends about units that are going in maintenance every couple of hundred of hours. So we've built artificial intelligence algorithm that can predict when a breakdown is going to happen, on top of state of charge when a GSE is plugged into a charger. So we have made many algorithms based on AI that are embedded in the product or that are also inside the platform to predict what's going to happen with GSE breakdown and so on.
That's incredible technology. You know, the one thing that I had never thought about was the actual user and what GSE they decided to use. I think that's really interesting, because just because of procurement, the procurement folks at headquarters think that they want to buy unit X. They don't know that the people on the ground like unit Y, and they prefer that, even though they have both the options. And let's say unit Y is newer, they always go with X. So it's an interesting concept that you could share that with procurement and say, I know this is a little bit more, however, our people actually use it, that's what they want, and then try to sway procurement that way, which I think is a very, very interesting idea. So I had not thought about I always think about like safety. I think about the fleet tracking and access control, where only the users that are supposed to be using that piece of equipment can use it. I've thought of all those different things and the benefits, but I never thought of that one. So I think that's super cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. And this is where we are trying to think about what people need, because fleet management is becoming more and more popular on the market. You've been talking about telematics, I think, with every previous podcast that you had.
That's right.
I think that you have a big interest into this. So it's becoming more and more popular, and we are trying to think about what's the next steps, because, safety is super important. Being able to reduce the speed if the seatbelt is not engaged. That's feature that we have today, making sure that, as you said, people are allowed to drive equipment. But the reporting function with every data that we are collecting is becoming more and more popular.
So what about downloading software updates to the CAN bus? Is that something that is possible now, or is that something you are looking into?
So today we can update our box, the software that is inside our box remotely. So every new version that we are developing, we can push it to our product, can configure our product remotely, which is super helpful. We don't have to send
no techs have to go out into the market. Yeah,
we have, as we are speaking, we are nearly at 20,000 equipment installed worldwide. So it's something that was mandatory since day one in our solution, and being able to upgrade PLC or GSE over the air is one subject that we are working on, where we could do it through Ethernet, where we could do it through the CAN bus, and there is a lot of integration that needs to be done with each manufacturer. So as we are getting known more and more in the market, it's becoming easier. That's a subject that we had in the past couple of years, but manufacturer, they were maybe afraid about what can you cause to the GSE, because if you are not doing the upgrade properly, if you block an equipment, it can be critical for your operation. But that's a discussion.
It just seems to me that with the lack of technicians, I mean, as we all know, there's a lack of technicians across all industries, but also in GSE, it would be very helpful if we get some of those software updates automatically rather than having to have somebody come on site and physically do it, because there could be other things, more critical things that they could be taken care of out in the market. But I was just interested in that and see if that was something that y'all were developing.
Yeah, it's coming. We are developing it, and we have, I would say, strong discussion with a couple of manufacturers that are using our solution today. But it needs to be, I would say, with a close relationship with the manufacturer.
So, and then the user interface for Adveez, is that something you all developed internally?
Yes, today, so we are nearly 50 employees now at Adveez. Half of the team is our engineering team. And I would say that 25% of our team is working on the product itself, on the hardware that is installed inside the GSE. 25% is data scientists that are working on AI and artificial intelligence. And 50% of our team is working on the back end with our database where we store the data, and also the front end, the platform that we are building, and the mobile app also that is used by the end user.
So let's talk about like the North American market just at the moment. How do you see ground handlers and airlines? Are they starting to get into this technology, or is it mainly the manufacturers in North America that are using fleet tracking and all that kind of stuff? Or what are you kind of seeing out there in the market, North America specific?
So North America has changed recently. So let's say in the past 2 to 3 years. Our first customer in the US market was Delta Airline in 2014. At that time, Delta Airline was just looking at GPS position and engine hours. I want to know how long each equipment has been used during the couple of months. Delta Airline was doing their maintenance based on timing. So GSE were going into maintenance every 6 months. So a GSE with 50 hours of usage and a GSE with
doesn't matter
500 hours was getting the same maintenance.
Yeah.
So we had at that time our product, it was like a light version where we were just collecting GPS position and engine hours. And just to do the analysis, in Europe at that time, access control was like the number one functionality that we were installing everywhere.
Yeah.
But Delta was like focused on this. So we've installed 3 stations with them with this. And in the past couple of years now, Delta Airline and other customers that we have, they are looking more into the safety. And safety is being able to know who's driving my equipment, being able to train them based on how they are driving the equipment. With the box that we have, we can detect harsh acceleration, harsh brake, harsh turn, if they are going too fast over a speed bump, and we are like providing scoring for a specific driver. So making sure that they have their seatbelt as they are driving. So this is part of the scoring also. And those functionality are becoming more and more popular in the US compared to, I would say, a couple of years ago, where the simple fleet management with like GPS and engine hours was the basic. Now we are moving to, I would say, another step with more safety-related questions, with speed reduction, where you draw a zone and you make sure that the speed is reduced as you are approaching an aircraft's zone. So, yes, safety is becoming, I would say, the subject number one on top of the fleet management, where most of the people in the US, they didn't have any telematics solution. So they are purchasing new equipment, but they don't know how it's used. And that was like how we sold the solution with the engine hours to Delta back in 2014. Install only air start unit in Atlanta, and out of 28 units, if I remember correctly, only 9 or 10 of them were used. So they really quickly had a business model to say, we have too much equipment. When you talk with people on the ramp, it's always, we don't have enough equipment. We don't have enough equipment. When you look at the data today, none of our customer is going above 85% of equipment in use in the same time. So
there's that money saving thing to this as well, because now people can see that they're not utilizing their entire fleet, where before, like you said, if you ask the users of the equipment, we don't have enough. But you can actually physically see now, we don't actually need those extra 2 or 3 pieces of GSE in Fort Worth. So I think it's a money saving thing as well.
It is.
And that's big money when you're talking about GSE.
Yep, exactly.
But what you're saying is that the technology is gaining traction in North America. You're starting to see more people starting to use fleet tracking. Do you integrate with any fleet management systems currently?
So fleet management system, we have our solution to do.
You have your own?
Our fleet management system. And after we have integration with multiple type of other software.
Okay.
First type is maintenance planning. So where we are pushing in real time our meter to those maintenance planning, and they are doing the schedule. We are not doing the scheduling. We have a small module in our system. So I will say, to come back to Avia Partner or Alizia in Europe, they are smaller company, and on one airport you will have 50 to 100 equipment. So using our module is enough to cover their needs. As you are talking to the US market, which is a big market, Atlanta, you have 2,000 equipment. Our small module inside our platform is not strong enough. So in this case, we are pushing the data to their maintenance software that is getting the real-time information and planning when an equipment needs to come into maintenance, managing the spare parts, and all of this. So that's one part of the integration. Second part is human resources software. Same. You can manually enter that Matt, you can drive pushbacks. You can do everything in our platform and say, okay, you have a training until the end of 2025. At the end of 2025, I will remove your rights from the platform. When we are talking with like small airport, small company, our tool is enough. As you are talking with like bigger customer, we are doing human resources software because they already have the training somewhere on their side. So they don't have to do double entry into software. So we are getting name, surname, badge ID, and which equipment they can drive. It is pushed to us. We push it to the box. And the third integration is with flight information system, where with the data that we have today, adding the flight information system, that's our work for 2025, making sure that based on the flight schedule, we can anticipate if we see that you don't have enough equipment, if you have every equipment at the right gate with the right aircraft. So that's what's coming in 2014, 2015.
2024 and 2025?
Sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure because I'm like, man, I didn't know whether we went back into the future or what here. That's all right. So is that the biggest technology that's coming? Is that the future, or is there other stuff that I need to be made aware of that I don't know is coming yet?
So one
that you can talk about.
Yeah. Other development, integration. There is solution on the market. For us, Adveez, if there is a solution on the market, there is no need to reinvent the wheel. What we found at the beginning of Adveez is that we didn't find any hardware and any platform that was made for ground support equipment with like all of the bells and whistle with our vision. So we said, okay, let's develop a hardware and let's develop platform for ground support equipment. Today, that's like 99% of our business. We have few other projects, but most of our customer base is airport application.
Yeah. So on that, before I forget, so how does your box that you install, your hardware, how does that differ from just somebody who does fleet tracking for vehicles, on-road vehicles? So how do those differ? Because I imagine they do, right? Because, we have mechanics that may or may not like to get in there and shut off this technology sometimes. So how does and then it's obviously a more robust environment out there in the GSE world than it is on road. So kind of tell me about how your box differs.
So on-road equipment, there is a standard called OBD. So when in your car, you have what we call an OBD plug, where it's a universal plug. You can plug a device directly into the OBD plug and you will collect every data from the car or the truck controller that you have in your car. On the GSE market, there is no regulation. So JBT is doing something on one side, Malahan is doing something on the other side. Everybody is doing something different. So, and sometimes the data will be available through CAN, sometimes it will be available through RS-232, sometimes it will be just analog and digital input. So this is why we didn't find any hardware that fits this GSE market with voltage about 80 volts. In your car, you have 12 volts. In a truck, you have 24 volts. So there is a lot of fleet management system for cars and trucks on the market. And they are trying to enter the GSE market, but it's very difficult because GSE are very specific and there is no standard between every GSE manufacturer about telematics compared to the car market, where every garage that you have in the world, they have like a tool that plugs into the OBD and it's going to log every code, every error code that you have in your car and tell you that's the issue. This is not available on the GSE market. So this is why I would say Adveez is here today. It's because you need to have a hardware that fits most of the brand and the model.
Yeah, so you got to have a solution for every single vehicle that's out there, and there's just no way for these on-road manufacturers to understand. And they got to understand the market, and they don't.
Exactly. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. They don't understand the market, and they can get simple information like GPS, like ignition on. But if you go a step further, talking about seat belt, speed reduction, access control, it's becoming more difficult for them.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. So what else? So I'd asked you originally, sorry, I cut you off. We were talking about new developments coming up in what we call 2024 and 2025. And
thank you.
And, I just kind of wanted to understand, what else is there coming?
One big request that we have is camera, being able to look if the driver is not on his phone. And same as I would say the car market, there is a lot of camera systems that are available on the market, but when you look at GSE, a lot of them, they don't have any cab, so it's going to be hard to install a camera on them. But there is a new demand about this. So in this case, we've partnered with a camera manufacturer. We have like 2 or 3 in our kind of catalog that, based on the customer requirement, we said, okay, we can get a live stream of the driver, a live stream of what the driver sees. We can have a double-side cameras. Today, there is no physical link between the camera and our box, but we are discussing more and more with those manufacturers to see potential integration, to take action in real time. Today, it's simply getting the data from those cameras and putting them into our platform. So you have the technical data from our box, and you have the camera live information from the camera system that we are using today.
That's cool technology. You're going to want access control partnered with that technology, so that way you can know who destroyed the camera on the MA50. You know what I mean?
And that's a big challenge today, because those camera they are off when the ignition is off.
Yeah.
So people we see that
so when they turn off the vehicle, that's when they smash the camera.
Yes, they smash it. They put a beanie over the camera so they can. So this is where I was telling about how and where we need to go with those camera to do integration to be smarter than the driver, because those ramp guy, they are very smart and they always find a way to go around. And I can
go around the technology.
Yes, I can tell you a story about this. Speed reduction, we are doing it outside, but we are also doing it inside. So baggage gallery, we are putting like beacons at the entrance, beacons at the exit. And when the GSE sees the beacon, it's going to activate the speed reduction on the GSE. So when you enter the baggage gallery, it will automatically reduce the speed until you exit.
Okay.
And what we were saying is that when I was talking about the 80 volt at the beginning, we were wired on like simple 24 volts, and people, they were like getting very fast to the beacon, pressing the e-stop. So we were losing the battery on our device. So our device was off. So when we were going with the speed, it was going under the beacon, and after they were like releasing the e-stop, and when they were inside, they were in full speed. So that's how we said, okay, we need to have the 80 volts. So now we are wired on the battery itself. So even if they press the emergency stop, we are still on the main battery. So we still detect the beacon. So that's we always need to be smarter than them.
Yeah, and this is where experience pays off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you would never enter the market knowing that could be a possibility.
Exactly.
That's something you can only learn through experience. So do you all put any kind of tracking devices on non-motorized, and are you seeing any kind of traction on that picking up?
Yes, so we also have a device that has its own battery, or same with the worldwide connectivity. So, and will be installed on tow bars, dollies, tow stairs, anything that is non-motorized, and being able to locate them. That's, I would say, the main requirement.
Yeah, I bet that's
So if we have our motorized equipment nearby, the message can go through the device on the motorized to save some battery on our non-motorized device. But if somebody from another ground handling company is taking your dollies and you are on the other side of the airport, the device has its own GPS and own 4G and 5G connectivity to send the data if there is no motorized equipment nearby.
Wow, that's impressive. Okay. Yeah. So is that like a popular thing, or is that less popular than on the motorized?
It's less popular because the business case is more complex.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine.
So there is a more and more request. I will say customer that we have since a couple of years where they've already worked on the business case on the motorized. They want to say, okay, what's the next steps? And the next steps is probably the non-motorized. But this is not what we always start with, because as we've discussed before, price of GSE is expensive. Is crazy.
It's only going up.
And being able to do fleet management on those high costs is easier to manage compared to the non-motorized.
All right. So what else? What else have I missed? What else have I not asked you about that we wanted to cover off on today?
Something that I've missed that is coming, I would say 2024, 2025, is the fleet management for charger. So we've been doing fleet management for ground support equipment, and we had like a couple of airlines and ground handling company in Europe that are like struggling, and I think they are all struggling about, do I have enough charger and how many charger do I need? Today, we see that everybody is installing charger, but what we see with the data that we have is that people are just leaving the GSE at the charger. The charge is finished, and it could be just a free space. And we had discussion with Gabriel from Everest. He was like, there is probably something to do. And so we've developed like a product that collects the data in real time from the charger. So we know when the charge is finished. We know if there is, sometimes the people, they are just plugging the charger. They press, let's charge, but they don't look if it's working. So if there is an issue on the charger, the next shift is coming and it's still, 40%. So with the device that we have developed, we can collect the data in real time, send alert when the charge is finished, send an alert with if the temperature of the lithium battery is going too high, if there is some issue that can be detected in advance, and being able to help airports and airlines and ground handling company to size their charger. Today, they are just buying charger because they think that they don't have enough, which is the case. They don't have enough, but they don't know.
But at a certain point, they will, and you'll help them understand when that is.
Exactly. So I would say same mindset. We've developed a box that goes into the charger. There is charger manufacturer on the market. They already have the connectivity embedded. So in this case, we are just asking for the data, and we have in the platform, same platform. So every data goes into the same platform. Every charger, so you have in real time on your map who's charging, who's free, who has a fault, where the charge has been is finished, and making sure that you are using correctly the charger. So we have our box for chargers that are not connected, where we get the data and we push it to our platform, and some other manufacturer, we just collect the data.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's great. I mean, and Gabe's a friend of the podcast. He's been on.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thanks, Gabe. All right. I had one last question. Oh, did you have something else?
And I wanted to say it's the same spirit with GSE manufacturer. We've talked a lot about ground handling company and airline, but we are building a strong relationship with some GSE manufacturer. And I will just say thank you to JBT, because we are at JBT today.
Yes, we are. Yes, thank you for letting us use your space once again here at JBT headquarters.
Thank you. So I had a meeting with them talking about our next generation of product, making sure the functionality that we integrate in our system. And so we are working with manufacturer to collect a lot of data from their GSE to do predictive maintenance. But if there is a customer that are using GSE with technology that is already available, we can do integration. And we've done integration with some manufacturer where they have a telematics. If we don't bring and add value on top of their telematics, we can just get our data into our platform, and the rest of the fleet, they can put our system, so they have a view of the whole fleet.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
There is this telematics subject is in every GSE manufacturer mind. So the goal is to have something that is universal between each GSE manufacturer. So it can be an Adveez box, it can be a competition to collect, I would say, 10 data points that are standard. Every GSE manufacturer should at some point come to an agreement to say, okay, we agree to share those 10 data points, which is not the case today. So part of the IATA and SAE meetings is there is a subject on telematics to see how everybody needs to work together to simplify telematics integration. Today, we are doing more and more installation at the factory, because doing installation when GSE are in the field, it's difficult. It is. It's taking a lot of manpower, and it's not always fully integrated in the best way. So when we are doing it at the factory, it's so much simpler. It's fully integrated with the manufacturer. You have the wiring diagram in the schematics and everything. So everybody is happy. But today there is no standard. So the GSE industry needs to work on the standard on this.
I agree. So can you tell us which manufacturers you work with, or is that confidential?
No, it's not. We have today JBT. We have Air Marel in France. We have Guangtai in Asia, and we have a couple of other manufacturers that we are discussing with right now, where we are close to a final
good
agreement.
Yeah.
I cannot say the name, but there's
of course
2 or 3 that are coming soon.
Coming soon.
Yeah,
Stay tuned, guys.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right, and then where can people go to find out more about Adveez, and can they visit your website? Like, what's your website?
So website www.adveez.com. You have every information needed about the whole solution. We are posting all of our updates into LinkedIn, and they can reach our sales team if there is any questions, comments. But yeah, the website is the way to go.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much. Unless there's anything else, I think we've covered a lot of stuff here, and I've loved learning more about Adveez and the product.
No, that's all I have. Thank you, Matt, for the podcast. I think it's a great way to make GSE I will say available for everybody, and making sure that we all know about what everybody is doing. And it was great to be here with you.
No, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for your time. And that'll do it for Matt and Matthias. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the GSE Podcast. We hope you found it informative and engaging. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with your colleagues and peers in the ground support equipment community. Your support is invaluable to us. We'd appreciate it if you could take a moment to rate and review our podcast. Your feedback not only encourages us, but also helps expand our reach within the GSE community. Keep an eye out for more episodes as we continue to explore the dynamic world of ground operations, bringing you the latest trends, insights, and stories from the industry. Thank you for listening to the GSE Podcast. Until we meet again, stay grounded and keep pushing forward.